What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the garage floor. What do we got here today? We got a cool little video. I'm gonna do some U-joints today, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do these. Save yourself a couple bucks going to the repair shop. Get yourself one of these bad layers right here. It's a ball joint press, and I actually just replaced mine. This is a Harbor Freight special. I did my upper and lower ball joints last winter, and I bent this. So if you can find a good one, if you do these all the time, get yourself a good one. But this is the aftermarket Harbor Freight Maddox ball joint press, probably 80 bucks. Or you can use the old method, hammer and socket, to knock these out. But you can search that on another video on YouTube, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it with the press. Both my U-joints at either end of the drive shaft. I'm just going to show you one. It goes the same exact for the other way. So you got clips on here on your U-joint. Got to take these things out and with a screwdriver and pop these out with a pair of pliers or screwdriver. I'll get these popped out and I'll be right back, guys, and I'll show you how to use this press. Here's some of the tools you guys might need. A pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of channel lock pliers, a pair of adjustable pliers, flathead screwdriver, maybe even something smaller, and a 1/2-inch drive wrench with a 7/8 socket on it, which will in turn turn this press. And just some of the tools you're gonna need. And if you guys leave a comment down below, if you guys want me to, I'll give you a tour of this bad Larry. Look at all that stuff. Just a little tease. If you guys want me to go through it, I'll let you know. But these are just some of the tools you are going to need. And I'll make sure if I get more throughout the process, I'll let you know what I'm using. Okay, so here we are with the clamp on the U-joint itself. Actually, it's on the yoke. Here's the yoke, here's the drive shaft, so it's on the drive shaft. Make sure you get all 4 of these clips out. There is a Zerk fitting on this one I had to take out with a flathead screwdriver. So what you want to do is make sure you center that on the center of the cap on that side, and make sure inside here that there's enough opening that that cap is going to follow through here, which there is just enough. Oops, sorry guys, just enough to come through here. So make sure that has plenty of room for the cap to fall through, because what you're going to be doing is driving this cap out over here. This cap's going to be driven out through this way, and then you're going to reverse the procedure. So basically here we are in my cold garage, which I have the heater on. And what you're going to do is tighten this down, and as you tighten this down, it's going to drive that cap out the other end. Should have got a longer ratchet, but this will work. You can use an impact wrench. This will go a lot quicker, but this will just show you exactly what you can do just with hand tools. You can get this right out, and it's coming right out. So right now it's pushing out of the cap out of that side of the drive shaft, and now it's hand tight. So back it off, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Back this clamp off. And I forgot to tell you, it's good to use a little Nemesis on these threads. If you guys have that, it helps tremendously, saving the life of the threads. So there you are. So here's your cap, and there's your needle bearings right there. So, time to replace it. Do the other side. And then what we'll do is push it down the other way. So we'll put the threaded part. We'll move this cap out of the way. Oh, I can almost make it. I can almost make it off this way. Oh, almost. It's too bad. There's not enough clearance. I can almost take this cap off. I can almost take that cap off without driving it through the other side. But that's okay. Let's see if I can get this off, huh? I doubt it, huh? Nope. Okay, so we'll line this back up. Get this started a little bit over here. See if we can get this thing started. So once you put that clamp on this end, what you want to do is make sure it's centered. That's the most important thing, because you don't want to push this in crooked. Should get my hammer. Let me go get my hammer. Okay, so get yourself a ball peen hammer for show, and just tap that in ever so slightly, as straight as you can. That'll get that started. put the clamp over the drive shaft and start spinning this down. Get this centered as best as you can. Flip it up to see how you're looking on this side, which just needs to come over to the CH. Back a little bit. Yeah. Just want to make sure that's centered so that cap has some place to fall into. Just take your ratchet. Start pushing that cap the other way through the drive shaft. That way you could take it off, and we'll take it off the yoke, and I'll show you guys how to do that one. Similar process. Back that off. That's not a good noise. Let's see here. Definitely have some deburring to do here. Big time in this drive shaft. Yep, so we're just going to keep driving that through. Probably take a little screwdriver and peel that back. It's hard to see in the video, but basically, you gotta be careful of that. Be right back, I'm gonna get rid of that. All right, so I got that out of there. Basically what I was doing is pushing the aluminum. You gotta be very careful with these drive shafts, especially right in here. I can't zoom in, try to bring a little closer for you guys. So what you gotta do is deburr just the edges so these caps go back in. You can see this right here a little bit. Needs to be deburred, but you gotta be careful. That's where your snap ring sits, so you don't want to ruin that. So, but you want to get all this out of here, and on the back side of that with a file, something like this, or something like this. And what you want to do is just deburr the edges, so that cap will fit in there a little bit nicer when you go to drive it back in. It's a very important step that you don't want to miss, because it'll help seat the cap a lot better. So file this down. Make sure your cap will fit when you go to reinstall the new U-joint. Okay, get that done, and then we'll show you how to switch out to take it out of the yoke. Same procedure. Okay, so now to take the yoke is the same exact way. You got a cap here and a cap here, so you have to push this cap that way and this cap that way. Whoop, this way and that way. So this is a little bit easier, and just got to pay attention though. Got to center it, and this is steel, so you won't have too much of a problem on this end. And this is why it's so shiny on this side, and it's a spline. This actually goes into your back of your transfer case or your transmission, depending on what kind of vehicle you have. Most rear-wheel drive vehicles will have a spline or some type of mechanism that the U-joint connects to through the drive shaft. A flange or a yoke. This is a yoke. Again, come up here, make sure you're centered for the cap to come out. Adjust as needed. See, I have it snugged up just a little bit, and all I'm doing is centering it on the hole so the cap has some place to fall into. And now, like I said, if you have an intact wrench, I would get the impact wrench. If not, you can use a 1/2-inch drive ratchet. Will do the trick. Wish I had a vise. She'll go though. There she she goes. Now she's starting to come. Now she's starting to come. Yep. Yep. And she's coming. A little bit of, should have got a bigger ratchet. I think I might get a bigger ratchet to put these back in. Might make my life a little easier. So now I'm going to loosen it so that cap doesn't come totally out. I'll take the clamp off. Get her set up back over here. You guys can see what's going on. And now we got the cap right there. You should be able to take, probably should have sprayed these with some penetrating oil, but you should be able to take your adjustable pliers and try to get a hold of that. If not, we got to push a little bit more. So basically we're going to get that cap out of there. So we're going to push a little more. Okay, let's see what we got now. Okay, cap's out. Just gonna take it off and then repeat the procedure the other way. Basically, guess I wish I had a vise, but I'm doing this kind of on the fly. So there you go, cap's off. Repeat the same procedure for the other way, and then reverse it to install it. And I'll show you guys how to do that after I get the old one out. Okay guys, so the U-joint is totally out, and this is what it looks like without the caps. Like that. So the old one's out, and make sure you do the same thing for your yoke. Make sure you deburr all your edges where the caps are gonna slide into. It makes your life a lot easier when you're reassembling and putting in the new caps. So make sure always deburr all your edges with a file. Try not to get inside where it sits. Try not to get in there. Just the edges. Angle your file just the right way. And we'll reverse the procedure. We'll be putting the caps in, pressing them in onto the new yoke, onto the new U-joint, onto the yoke, and then onto the drive shaft. All right, guys, so here's the new U-joint in place. Basically, you put one cap on this way, you put a cap in. I can't get it out. I wanted to show you guys. So anyways, these caps are just barely set in here, basically. As you can see, you got to be very careful, though. There's needle bearings inside these caps. I'll show you on this one. This is going to go on the drive shaft side. So you got to be very careful, all those needle bearings in there, which are greased. And there is a grease fitting that goes on this. So you just got to be very careful not to lose any of these bearings. And this is why it's a good idea to press these on one cap at a time, to go easy and slow. Push that cap in, and which the tool will push in. And you know what I'm going to do to keep this from being not destroyed but bothered is take that cap out. So I just barely set this cap, not all the needle bearings again. And there's grease on this spline right here. You can see. So you just push that in there, and I'll show you that afterwards. You guys saw me take it apart, so it's the same exact procedure. Push this in, come over here and push this cap in. I'll show you. I'll be right back. Let me push these caps in. All right, guys, I need to reiterate something. It's very, very important that you make sure this cap is as straight as you can get it before you start driving it into the yoke. You do not want it to be crooked or anything like that. You want to make sure that thing goes in nice and straight, and you won't have any problems. See how that's driving in nice and straight. Just wanted to show you something right here too on the where the cap goes, you got to make sure you clean out that groove right there. That groove over time gets a lot of crud and yuck in it, and aluminum drive shafts seem to carry a little bit more crap in there. So just be careful when you're taking out the old cap. Here's what an old U-joint looks like. Pretty nasty. Had plenty of grease in it, but I come to find out that is a Moog part, M-O, right here, Moog, M-O-O-G, and that's 295F, and I'd replaced these this spring. I mean, I should say this summer, midsummer, early spring. That's a 330A. Someone sold me the wrong U-joints and took a couple months, but it started to vibrate because they're not the right size. They're a little bit size smaller, so the 330A is the correct size for my drive shaft, which mine is a huge aluminum one, and this one is the one that what it looks like when it's all replaced. I put some grease in it. All the clips are in there nice. Make sure the clips are seated properly, and then you got your U-joint replaced. So just make sure you guys, you clean that channel right there real good so your snap rings, which this is a snap ring right here, fits in there nice and tight, snug, so you don't lose your drive shaft. All right guys, so this is basically what the finished product will look like with the snap ring in place. Make sure your cap is all the way seated, and make sure your snap ring is in the groove on both sides of the U-joint, and you're good. So make sure you drive this in very straight, and you can see how the cap's going in. Don't want it to fight. You want it just to go in nice and smooth, basically. And if you have a vise, get yourself a vise. It's a lot easier with a vise. Push that cap in. You don't want to go too far. You want to look on the side here and make sure you go just enough to put the seat clamp in. You don't want to go too far. We're getting close to the bottom where this needs to be. Okay, back it off, and we'll put the other cap on. See, I'll leave that little bit of lip. That could have went down just a little bit more, actually. So I'll push that down just a little bit more. And the same procedure on the other end. Just put this cap in, set this cap this way, so the needle bearings don't fall out, and then slide your U-joint out just a little bit, and then that'll keep your U-joints, that'll keep it nice and straight. See how nice that's nice and smooth? That's just my thumb moving that back and forth. That's how you want the joint nice. So we'll push this cap in, and then we'll finish pushing that other cap in, and that is how you replace a U-joint with a ball joint press, basically. It takes some time, it takes a little bit of focus,